I'm old. I'm a fidgety old man. I just made a wooden puppet. Fucking hate that thing. Welcome to A Cast with No Name. We're your hosts. I'm Jay.
And I'm Matt.
This is episode 38. This episode, we will be discussing the 2022 Pinocchio films from Disney and Netflix. But first, don't forget to visit our website, acastwithnoname.com, where you can find all previous episodes right there at your fingertips. You can comment, you can write to our email, all that good stuff. So it is the first episode of 2023.
We made it.
Haven't seen you since last year.
I know. Got it. You're off with a good start here.
No, that's just one pun of 20.
Yeah. Super excited about that.
But yeah, so for our first episode, of 2023, we're going to talk about two films from 2022 because nothing's come out yet. But two Pinocchio films.
Yep.
Initially, we thought about doing three. I didn't feel like watching the Pauly Shore Russian
No, not at all.
dub thing.
What would be the point? There would be none.
There would be none.
So
It's debatable if there's a point with this one. But
it's very true.
But yeah, so we have two of them. One by Robert Zemeckis, which came out in September-ish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the Disney live-action remake.
Yep.
And then you have a Netflix-produced one that was brought to you by Guillermo del Toro and Mark Gustafson.
Yeah. He's just been coming out with stuff left and right for Netflix.
Who, del Toro?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because he had that miniseries, The Cabinet of Curiosities.
Yeah.
Or
That was kind of cool.
yeah,
Wasn't scary or anything, but it was kind of cool.
yeah. And they were just single one-off episodes.
Anthology series, yeah.
Yeah. But let's hop into it.
Let's hop into it. Well, and we picked these movies too because they're two directors that are pretty good. I think we're a fan of their movies.
And it was when we first thought of this was before either Pinocchio movie came out.
Uh-huh.
And it was, we can kind of compare and see the styles and differences and all that good stuff. But let's hop into Zemeckis's and Disney's Pinocchio first, and then we can dive into del Toro's.
Well, we should preface that these movies went different approaches.
Yeah.
They told different stories for the most part.
Zemeckis's was the remake of the animated version. Obviously, Del Toro's was more based on the book, but he did take some liberties changing some elements of the story and time setting and stuff like that.
Yep.
Which is fine. So, I guess let's hop into, if you haven't seen any of the Pinocchios, then
I'm sure they have.
We'll give you first impressions of each.
Yeah.
As we talk about them, and then we'll dive into spoilers. So why don't you kick things off with Zemeckis's first impressions? Yeah.
I just thought it was typical. We have to make something, and the current trend is we have to remake the old Disney cartoons into live action, and Pinocchio was just the next in line, and that's what it felt like.
Yeah, I agree. First impressions, it's dog shit. It's a piece of crap that didn't need to be made. It pissed me off watching it, but not to the extent that it would keep me awake. So
okay. So did you stay awake?
No, I fell asleep.
You fell asleep?
Twice.
Wow.
And part of the reason was I was hungover. The other part of the reason was...
That's right. We went hard in the paint on New Year's Eve.
Yeah, we did. And the other reason is it just sucked so hard.
It was bad.
And no spoilers, you tell it's going to suck so hard in the first 5 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
I do not waste your time watching this.
Yeah, it's bad.
Unless you want to have some kind of frame of reference as far as what we talk about further with this movie. But it is... it felt rushed. It was very, very boring. It didn't do anything new that the original animated movie didn't. I mean, there's nothing redeeming about this.
Yeah.
Other than the fact that there's probably quite a bit of people like paid a lot of money to just shit out a turd that has no effect on culture whatsoever. I hated this fucking thing.
Wow,
this is a piece of dog
I think
shit.
you disliked it more than I did.
The fact that they didn't release it in theaters, I said
hit
before,
one.
was very, very telling.
Yeah.
They shouldn't even put it on streaming platform because it still wasted people's time if they watched it.
Yeah.
And people kind of gave HBO and Warner Brothers flack for not releasing Batgirl.
This is why?
I'm guessing it's probably why. Like, maybe a movie executive saw it and like, this is the biggest piece of dog shit I've ever seen. We're not releasing this. It's a waste of somebody's time, and we're going to go to hell if we just make this available for anyone to watch. And then you have the other camp saying, well, you should release it. You already did the work. Ugh. There's arguments against that now.
Yeah.
That this movie proved it to me.
That's a good point.
I love Robert Zemeckis, but this just sucked.
Yeah.
Donkey dick.
It was bad.
It was not good. So
Well,
I do not recommend it.
I don't either. Yeah. I told you that after I watched it because I saw it when it first came out, and I knew we were going to do this episode, so I didn't really let my feelings be known on the podcast. But yeah, it's bad. I didn't like it. Well, let's start with the design itself. What did you think of the Pinocchio design? Do you think it fit like the world that it was placed in?
No,
I didn't either.
I don't know what the point is, other than just churning out content. It felt like no one cared.
Yeah.
But it felt like that in the first 5 minutes. You have Tom Hanks kind of putzing around.
He's phoning it in.
His house, and he's doing an impersonation.
Yeah, he's phoning it in.
And I'm like, and he's mumbling to himself, and like he's trying to give backstory to his character. I'm like, oh, he doesn't care. And then I'm trying to pay attention to the writing because it said script Robert Zemeckis.
Yeah.
He's a pretty good storyteller
Mm-hmm.
at times. And I was watching it for a little. I was like, oh, he doesn't care. This is dragging on way too fucking long. And then I started noticing. So then I started trying to pinpoint, all right, where's some things that are good? Because one thing, I figured this movie was going to be not good just based on other people watching it and all that stuff. So one thing I was kind of looking forward to, I was like, well, I bet the special effects
Solid.
will be solid because Robert Zemeckis is a very good technical director. He's done The Walk. He's done Welcome to Morrowind, which not a lot of people saw, but he kind of used like a doll effect. So I was kind of interested to see how he was going to do Pinocchio, if Pinocchio was going to look hyper realistic or anything like that, or those just sucked. Like there was nothing good.
Nothing remarkable about it.
Yeah. The green screens were shitty. The compositing was bad.
Yeah.
Like with Tom Hanks in the boat at the end. And and then Pinocchio paddling his feet or whatever. Like it just all looked fake.
Yeah.
It looked so fake. Especially considering this is the first movie I think I watched since Avatar.
Mm-hmm.
And to where you have something like that, to where you could tell someone at least gives a shit compared to something like this. And it was $150 million was this budget.
That's
this
crazy.
Movie.
It's crazy. Where'd the money go?
I don't know. But someone should have gotten fired. I mean, I know the CEO of Disney already got fired, but more people need to be fired.
Yeah. Because Zemeckis did the Witches remake, I want to say 2 years ago, and it came out on HBO Max, and the effects there were bad.
Yeah.
So this is 2 movies in a row where it's been pretty subpar effects. It's kind of disappointing.
I honestly Googled, is Robert Zemeckis poor?
Did you really?
Yeah, because I'm wondering, I'm like, what the hell is he doing? Like, is he just is he doing a Bruce Willis? Like, I'm going to churn out as much shit as possible, get up a nest egg so I can have something to leave to my kids. So that way they don't have to feel like they have to remake Back to the Future when I die and people start throwing money at them. I mean, I don't...
What did it say when you Googled it?
No, it
said no, he's fine.
Yeah. He's fine. Just doesn't care anymore.
He just doesn't care anymore.
And I can't even tell because with the Polar Express and the Christmas Carol and Beowulf movies. He did, because he had a production company. It was like the South something Adventures or something like that, that he started in 1984, and then that changed to Moving Images.
Moving Images, yeah.
And that kind of turned into Moving Images Digital. But the point of that was he was creating a motion capture technology. He was like, that was the point of the company, is to be able to bring motion capture to a filmmaking state and people could use it. And that's, I think, is why he did Polar Express, all those motion capture movies in the 2000s. He was developing that technology, wanted to get to a point where he could make money off of it. I could see a point with those movies being made. And I don't see a point with what he was doing with Pinocchio. I never saw Witches. Welcome to Morrowind was fine. I watched that simply because I read the article, that the real article that it was based off the real person, and that was fine. I mean, it wasn't a Forrest Gump, but you're always not gonna.
It was at least serviceable and it was entertaining.
Yeah, and the effects were good.
Did you ever see Allied?
No, I didn't.
I haven't seen that either. I don't think there's a lot of. It's not an effects-driven movie. I think.
Yeah, I think it was more of a character, like espionage, kind of thing. And I'm just wondering what, like, he's. I mean, obviously, maybe a paycheck or something.
Yeah.
Maybe he was bored.
Did he owe Disney another movie from like a contract he signed in the '80s after Who Framed Roger Rabbit? He's like, hey, you owe me one more, fella.
Could be, because Disney kind of went in on him with Moving Images.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That was the other thing that was kind of going through my head was, why is he doing this, and why is Tom Hanks doing this?
Why is Tom Hanks doing it? Well, he's buddies with Zemeckis.
Sure, but
I don't think if you're casting this movie, we're like, oh, we need to have Tom Hanks as Geppetto. We need that to sell this movie. Do you think that was part of it? But no, it wouldn't be, because you're riding the live action remake train.
Yeah.
And there's the ones that came before didn't have huge stars or people with name recognition like Tom Hanks. They just made him anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You don't. Yeah.
You don't need.
You probably should have gotten Stanley Tucci or somebody
for half the price, quarter of the price.
Yeah. And you would have gotten a better performance.
Probably.
Maybe. I don't know. Zemeckis was good. But yeah, that was the other, like the special effects. There was nothing special about the way Pinocchio was created. You had at the first 5 minutes, again, I'm going to bring up a lot of stuff in the first 5 minutes because I think I fell asleep at about minute mark 20.
Yeah.
And everything was, I would think that if I was producing a movie and, hey, we're going to remake a movie that was made in 1940. And we're going to do it live action. We own the story. How do we want to do it now? How do we want to do it today? And nothing in the past 80 years, no one had any ideas. It was just, just do the whole thing.
That's too hard. That's too hard.
Like, it's not even better. Like, I don't know. I have written down here, it's such a missed opportunity. One, from a story standpoint, you could have made it more appealing to middle-aged students, I guess. Something. I mean, you could have really wrote about the theme or kind of explored the theme of what it means to be a human, what it means to be a child, or what it means to be a father or a parent. And you could have dove into that to at least flesh it out a little bit more, because this was padded. Like, half the shit in here, I was just like, oh my God, they're just drawing this out. And they don't have a story. And like, why make it other than for the fact that they probably needed extra content, but they have enough in their catalog. They shouldn't just start promoting all the shit you guys made in the 80s that were at least original.
Well, I think they just got lazy, Jay. Honestly, think about the track record of this. You start with Cinderella, You go with the Jungle Book, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, The Lion King. They're just like that's 6 movies in a row, baby. Box office gold.
Yeah, except
We don't need to spend all this time on writing and storyboarding, like all that stuff. That's extra time. We're not dealing with that.
I know, but they spent $150 million on this and still didn't release it in theaters.
Maybe they owed Zemeckis money, and they needed something
To launder?
like to launder through,
I like that. At least that makes fucking sense.
something like that.
They're like, oh, you're not going to get your money until, oh, you got to direct this. Yeah, I'll direct this piece of shit. Oh,
Yeah,
fucking-
maybe Zemeckis had the P tape on Bob Iger,
Probably.
and Iger was like,
No, this is
Chapek.
Chapek, yeah.
Yeah, maybe he had the P tape on Chapek.
Maybe.
Was like, listen, I need $100 million,
Yeah.
like now, ASAP. He's like, well, I can't just give you $100 million. Could you just turd out this fucking
Just
Pinocchio
squeeze
movie
this
for
out
me?
into a toilet.
No one is really expecting much of it. I'm just gonna release it on streaming anyway. Sure.
I mean, they could have done a great job with that story, like really explored that a little bit better, and it wouldn't have to follow the other thing. It's live action.
Yeah.
They could have had a breakthrough in practical effects in puppetry. I think would have been fantastic to actually have a robotic puppet
Yeah.
with as much Imagineering people that you have. You're doing a live action of a movie of a character based on a puppet. Get your fucking engineering team and make the fucking puppet.
Get Trey Parker and Matt Stone
Yeah.
on the production. You know.
You did BB-8 with a little ball and a little thing, and like.
Can you imagine the Team America was in this movie and like that was the technological breakthrough? Just
That movie looked better than this one.
I know it did. Yeah.
That would have been hilarious.
Yeah. I think he looked like a video game character.
He did.
There wasn't a lot of texture to his like face or his features or anything. It just felt like something that you would find in the new Nintendo Switch Pinocchio game, and then they just plopped it in the movie. That's how out of place it looked.
I mean, you joke about the marionette strings and everything. They still could have done that.
Yeah.
With just digital wire removal. Have Pinocchio be a marionette puppet. And I think that could have at least been cool. And you wouldn't have Tom Hanks sitting in a room by himself the entire time.
Yeah.
Why the fuck was Honest John still a fox? No one's freaked out about that shit?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. What was the
No one was
Gideon?
really Yeah. Well, no one was even freaked out that Pinocchio was a wooden boy. Not really.
Yeah.
No one really thought twice about it.
Which I think could have been, this would have been dark, but they could have done it to where Geppetto thinks Pinocchio's alive, and it's his PTSD from losing his son.
That's very dark.
And so he just kind of goes into a mental spiral.
And the townspeople are like, hey, don't...
Yeah, he's kind of like
Hey,
he thinks the puppet's alive.
If we let the cat out of the bag here, he's going to do the old...
See, that's a Pinocchio I want to see. That'd be a good one. But yeah, they could have had a breakthrough in practical effects. But yeah, they didn't do anything new.
No.
And
What'd you think of Luke Evans as the coachman?
I was asleep for probably most of it.
Uh-huh.
I woke up and I saw him in front of something. I was still half dazed because this is, I mean, granted, you 5 people that listen to this podcast may be thinking, oh, you don't care enough to watch the whole movie. No, not this one. I do not.
You don't care enough?
I
Wasn't
thought
worth
about
your
it for
time.
5 seconds. Should I go back and rewatch this? And I was like, no, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't fucking matter. The one thing that I saw him in, his scaling was off.
Very off, yeah.
And
That's what I remember.
And I looked at that and I was like, what the fuck? He just looked super tiny, I think.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it was like super tiny compared to everything else. I was like, that doesn't look right.
Yeah.
And then I think I shut my eyes again, and I can't remember when I woke up.
Yeah.
It was when Lampwick was playing pool. Does Lampwick play pool in this?
I think so, yeah.
Billiards?
Mm-hmm.
Before he turns into a donkey?
So they're going around Fantasy Island or whatever, and like Luke Evans pops up like under like the deck, and seating under the boat and stuff. He's just popping up out of places.
Yeah, and
it looks so fake.
Mm-hmm.
Looks. I don't understand why you couldn't have done that practically, just like in one shot or something to make it kind of like a seamless transition. They didn't even try. It was just, hey, you could tell it was green screen. It was terrible looking.
Dog shit. And I think he was probably on his last movie. Like, yeah, I just don't.
Looks awful.
You know how Disney kind of goes in like dark ages and then they have a renaissance?
You think this is the dark age?
Oh, absolutely. This sealed it. I was like, oh, wow, they're fucking out of it. Like, they don't know what to do. They haven't released anything good since 2019.
Yeah.
I don't count Avatar as Disney. That's James Cameron.
Yeah.
And that was a holdover from Fox. I'm pretty sure Disney probably would have shit-canned Avatar if they acquired Fox back in the early 2010s.
Yeah.
Because they would have, they probably would have done one sequel, but they would have rushed it, and then it would have sucked, and then no one would care.
You're right. They haven't
released. Last thing I think that they released that was noteworthy and that had any kind of emotional or cultural appeal was Avengers Endgame.
Yeah.
And there hasn't been. Pixar hasn't really put out anything.
No.
They had Soul, which was okay.
Mm-hmm. It was all right.
But yeah, they haven't done shit, but they've done a lot of crap.
Mm-hmm.
And they're in a dark age.
So this is the early to mid 80s. The 80s, actually, of Disney.
Yeah, but even then, you still had, Flight of the Navigator?
Yeah, the live action stuff was pretty good.
Yeah. And you had the Black Hole in, like, the late 70s. Yeah, it wasn't like, they weren't classics or anything, but at least you still had, serviceable creativity. They didn't know what the fuck they were doing, but at least they were just putting out new stuff. Like, they're like, oh, here's a idea.
Yeah.
Oh, Tron.
Yeah, that's true.
There you go.
That's true. That was new.
And they didn't know what they were doing, but at least they were trying something to where this, I feel like they're not even trying. They're just, we got to fill up our streaming service. We have to keep making content. Oh, we got these properties now that we spent billions of dollars on, and we need to have ROI for our shareholders.
Yep.
And it's gross. It's pathetic, and I think, I don't.
When do you think they're going to take a chance on an original idea where the budget's more than $50 million? No, I'm not talking about a Disney Plus show that costs $10 million, and they'll get 8 episodes. But they give it like an actual original idea, some heft, some budget.
Well, the sad thing is they could, but hell, they spent $150 million on this, and it went straight to streaming.
Yeah.
How much are they spending on, like, Captain America and Winter Soldier? How much did that cost them? Like $50 million?
I don't know.
I don't know.
You mean the TV series?
Yeah. So I don't know how much that costs. So $50 million might be in a drop in a bucket to them as far as like kicking something out. But I don't see them releasing anything theatrically that is original. Strange World, I think, killed that.
That's true.
Pooch.
Yeah.
But they also didn't market that movie at all.
And that cost almost $200 million to produce. So. Yeah.
I think the next original, quote unquote, thing that they do, it'll have to be an animated movie. But I don't.
Like computer animated?
Yeah, it could be. Yeah. I don't think it's going to be like a live action original thing. For them to get out of this slump, they need a desperate change in, I think, the people that are running their companies, because a lot of people, I think, are too set in the ways. You have, because I'm trying to think of,
they need to
anybody that, like, everyone at Pixar that were kind of like the breath of fresh air as far as children animated movies have now been doing it for 25 years.
Yeah.
So they're set in their ways. And you can see their creativity is starting to take a dip in the late 2010s or mid 2010s. I think Inside Out was probably the last thing that was like Yeah, that's pretty good.
Very good, yeah. Completely original stuff that's just is very, very good.
Yeah. But you have people that are actually passionate about those ideas that are able to put that out in the world to where a lot of the shit, either someone doesn't have ideas or they don't feel comfortable allowing people to explore those ideas. But yeah, you have Pixar that's been doing it forever. You have Marvel. They've been doing it for about 15 years. Mm-hmm. And who's the guy that does Kevin
Feige?
Kevin Feige. I don't think he's probably like, fuck, I didn't think it was going to last this long.
No.
And
no.
It's I just think they're at a point they don't know what they're supposed to do. Disney has been, if it wasn't for Marvel, Disney would have been in a downtrend since the last Frozen movie. They did Frozen. When was Frozen? 2013?
Yeah.
I mean, that was their last animated hit.
Frozen 2. Came out in 2019. It made more money than Frozen.
Did it? Well,
oh yeah.
Came out in 2019? Really?
Right before COVID. I remember taking the kids to go see it before the theater shut down, yeah.
All right. I'll give him Frozen 2.
I'll give him Frozen 2.
What was before Frozen 2?
Yeah.
Not a goddamn thing. I don't know. I don't have it in front of me, but
yeah.
But I mean, other than Frozen, Tangled was before Frozen.
I mean, Inside Out, all the Pixar
but that's
movies.
Pixar.
Oh, it's
so
Pixar. Okay.
Take out Pixar, take out Marvel,
Zootopia.
take out Zootopia is pretty good.
Yeah.
That was what, 2015?
16, yeah.
2016. So, and then you take out Star Wars. You take out all the properties that Disney bought, and you just look at their core business of movies. They've had 3. So we'll just say Frozen, Frozen 2, Zootopia in the past 10 years.
Yeah.
And that's, I don't know. I mean, obviously that's why they buy IP, is so you can have more ideas to play with.
Yeah.
But
and I think there's definitely an overload, oversaturation going on. They need to go back to the days of Pixar, you release 1 movie a year. Marvel, you release 1, maybe 2 movies a year. Star Wars, 1 every 3 years. Because that's the way, that's how I like, or I like James Cameron's approach to Avatar, where he's releasing them every other year instead of consecutively. Where I'm sure an executive was like, "No, James, you gotta release these every December," because they want to they're going to capitalize on the dollar, and James is saying no.
Yeah.
The anticipation is going to be there to where if you do that, you're not going to get that anticipation.
And I think part of it's for that. I think the other part of it is because in the off years, I think they're going to release Star Wars.
I hope not.
I think the next, I've heard.
Oh man!
Of course, this from my sources of the internet.
The internet, Reddit.
Yeah, Reddit. 2025.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Star Wars.
The next Star Wars movie, 2025.
Like a continuation of.
Oh, the dog shit that they made. Episode 10. Flight of the No Gives a Fucks.
Are they continuing that story, or
Attack of the Shits?
Are they continuing in the Skywalker?
I don't know.
Jeez, who cares?
Yeah, doesn't matter.
I could care less.
I don't. Everyone's like, "Oh, you gotta watch it, Andor. It's a good show," and I was like, "No," because they burned me 5 fucking times in a row. I'm not gonna watch any more of their shit. It doesn't matter. And that's the thing. Like, it's gonna get to a point. Like, they keep making this shit. No one's gonna want to look at it. No one's gonna want to watch it. No one's gonna want to care. And if they just release the dog shit on Disney Plus, then people are gonna start. Their kids are going to get older. Oh, they've seen all this. They don't care. It's gone.
Yeah.
And they'll unsubscribe.
Yeah. And for Andor...
It's diluting the brand.
Yeah. Well, with Andor, you know what's going to happen to that character ultimately.
Yeah.
And if you're going to make a series about that character has to be like a beloved character. Like Boba Fett, for example. That, for whatever reason, that character is beloved. For whatever reason. It warranted, though, a series that you can make from him.
Yeah. And I never watched it. I heard it was okay. Andor, I heard was really good. but that's a character that has no longevity because he's dead, which is fine. But I'd be willing to bet whoever did Andor has a passion for that character or had a story to tell with that character. And they cared about telling that story. That could make all the difference in the world. And like just movies like this, just because, I mean, you make a live action Pinocchio, why did Robert Zemeckis have to do it? If he didn't care, like maybe he did care about it and he was passionate about the story and he's like, you know what? Yeah, I really want to tell that story. It didn't feel like it. Like it felt, everything was just off. It was just piss poor. I don't know if it was a COVID movie to where, well, shit, fuck it. We'll just CG everything and including Tom Hanks's cat, house cat, like nothing can be live action. It's all fucking animated again.
Yep.
And the only thing live action was, Luke Evans and Tom Hanks. But Tom Hanks didn't look like he's doing it for a paycheck. But I'm like, did Tom Hanks need to be in that movie? Who was this made for? That it warranted, oh, let's get Robert Zemeckis. Oh, you remember him. He did Back to the Future and Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
Who loves that? Oh, mid-30 people and up. And Tom Hanks, who's all into Tom Hanks? Let's say mid-20s. Maybe mid-20s because of Toy Story and up. And so you didn't need that person telling the story because it didn't feel like they had a passion for it. I would change my top 5 worst things.
And put this on there?
Yes, absolutely. What did I have as number 1? Oh, the
Lord of the Rings. Rings of Power.
It's up there.
It's fighting for number 1 or number 2.
Let me look back. What did I have? Yeah. Obi-Wan was number 2. I'd put this above Obi-Wan. Yeah, this would be number 2. Pinocchio's number 2. Obi-Wan's number 3. Bubbles number 4. Number 5 is Halloween Ends. Thor, you're no longer in the top 5 worst things. But again,
off the press.
But Thor, Thor had the same shit. It's like Taika Waititi didn't care. It's like, why are you giving these jobs to people if they obviously do not care? Give it to someone who actually cares.
Yeah.
And you would, even if it was piss poor effects, if the story was there, but there was no story that the original one didn't even do, and it's pathetic. It's fucking lazy. No one likes that shit, and it's gonna kill their brand. I mean, Disney will be fine in the long run, I'm sure, but I mean,
they're struggling right now.
Yeah,
for sure.
Like, figure it the fuck out. Like, just maybe go back. Just stop churning out shit all the time.
Well, I think the market's going to correct it because I've heard reports that starting this year they're going to pull back on spending a lot for streaming service content by like 10%.
Yeah, because no one's signing up for their shit service.
Right. So it's eventually they're going to have to start getting picky. They can't just greenlight shit.
Get picky or throw some shit throw everything that Fox had. Like, they're sitting on a mountain of content already from Fox. Put it on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Well, it's not family friendly, and I'm like, no one gives a shit. Just put it on there. That's what people want to see. Like, just give them. Maybe they can only access like the rated R shit if like an adult through an adult profile or something.
Right. Disney Red.
Or throw it on Hulu. They own like 30% of Hulu.
Yeah, you
put
can do
it
that
somewhere.
Yeah.
And I mean, they have decades of stuff that they own now, and they're still churning shit out like they're a brand new studio. It's like, just stop, because you're killing whatever IP you do have. Because say someone comes along and they actually have a really good idea for a Pinocchio live action story. Well, you screwed that fucking pooch already because you made this dog festering turd of a movie that no one gives a shit about.
Yep.
Oh my God, when he came back and Pinocchio was telling Geppetto about his day, he's like, oh, I did this and this and this and this and this and this and this. I was very close to throwing something at my TV because I wanted to yell at him so hard. One, because he wouldn't shut the fuck up. 2, I was hungover.
Yeah.
And I just woke it up. And
That's
I was like,
what it
God damn, shut the fuck up.
Mute.
I was like, Jesus Christ.
I don't remember that scene.
It was like right when Pinocchio approaches him after or before Monstro. It was around that time.
Okay, so towards the end of the movie.
Towards the end of the movie.
All right.
And he was like telling him everything. He's like, all this stuff happened. He's like, in one day? And I'm like, shoot me in the fucking face. I hate this movie.
Yeah.
This is...
Well, I think I told you in a couple podcasts ago that I thought that the ending of this movie was the worst ending of the year. Because of the way it ended. So PC.
Yeah, no, I was waiting for it. You thought it was PC?
Yeah, I thought it was stupid.
I just thought it was...
So he just remains a wooden boy, and that's it?
Yeah.
He went through all those adventures, hardships.
Yeah.
Doesn't get the reward at the end, huh?
Just like the movie itself, it doesn't fucking matter.
It's like... it's so
yeah, let's
dumb.
not touch on the thing that,
So we're going to remake it
let's
shot
have him
for
lie.
shot.
Let's have him lie to get himself out of trouble, too. That's a good moral. Like,
Right.
who is this made for?
We're gonna remake this movie shot for shot all the way up into the end. Why? Because you have to have the message. You're unique and perfect, just the way you are.
That's fine if they want to
You
have
don't need
that.
to change.
But
That's a terrible message for our kids, Jay. You aren't fine just the way you are.
everyone should be the same.
Soft times make for soft men, Jay.
It does. That's why I'm a hard body.
I am casting iron with my sons. I need them to be hard. This movie does not prep my kids for the hardships and the nastiness of the world.
And it should. I mean, I
And
think
it should. That's right, Pinocchio should.
And it was a shot-for-shot remake, and maybe it's probably because I did not watch it a lot when I was a kid. Pinocchio's not really I would say, in the top 10 movies that Disney ever did.
Oh, you mean for
animated
movies?
Yeah. There's nothing really remarkable about it. You have Snow White because that was the first feature-length animated movie. This just happened to be the second one.
Yep.
And it's okay. The major thing that I think came from that movie is When You Wish Upon a Star.
Yeah. That's fine.
Yeah. But other than that, it's not like, Sleeping Beauty, you had the European art style of the backdrops. You had,
it's very good.
Cinderella. 101 Dalmatians. You get into the pencil, like the different ways that
cool.
the Xeroxing of animation. Like, it's not.
Even Alice in Wonderland is more creative.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
It's not even like the best. Like, so if you like to do a shot for shot remake, I could see doing that for Beauty and the Beast, which they kind of did. That was a tight story. The first Cinderella live action remake they did, they added to it, and it was valuable additions to the story. It was something because Cinderella was like an hour and 15 minutes.
Yep.
And
they had to add to it.
Yeah, because it takes a long fucking time to make an animated thing, and they made it in the fucking 50s. Like, so, hey, let's add the story that we think should be added to it. They didn't do any of that here. They just drew out crap.
Yep. Well, and I think for Cinderella's case, they had to take their time and care and what they wanted to do with that, because that was the first live action remake of a cartoon. It was the first one.
Yeah.
So they wanted it to hit.
Yeah.
So they probably took extra care.
They probably did care.
In the story. They probably cared about it. Yeah. But no, I agree with you. This movie's dog shit. It's terrible.
But I think...
don't recommend it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. If you want to
bad.
watch a live action remake, the only one, in my opinion, is worth a shit is Cinderella. Everything else, throw it out. Hermione Granger singing Beauty and she can't.
She's not a very good singer.
No.
I'll give you that.
Well, she's not she can sing, but she's not like she can't.
Yeah. She doesn't have range.
Yeah, well, she can't project enough. It's like
Yeah.
she's singing to herself in the shower or something, and it's
Yeah.
like they needed someone who was a singer to have that role that could also act.
Yes.
Just like in the hit movie The Bodyguard, you get Whitney Houston who can fucking sing, and then can she act? Maybe not, but she can sing.
She sure can.
You can believe that she's a pop star.
Yeah.
So
There
it
you go.
works. But yeah, I don't recommend it. It pissed me off.
pretty
Disney's
bad.
in a dark age. Zemeckis better do something. There's a couple of movies he's coming out with that I'm kind of interested in. One is King Kamehameha,
Oh.
starring The Rock, about the king of Hawaii who united the tribes and blah, blah, blah. I am not interested in that.
Okay.
However, it is written by Randall Wallace, so your beau for Braveheart.
That's right.
So that'll, if it's a good period piece, maybe. And then an upcoming movie Here, which takes place inside of a single room, and it's about the people who lived in that room, past, present, future, all that stuff. So, which that is written by the same guy who did the script for Forrest Gump, Benjamin Button.
Eric Roth.
Yep,
Is there gonna be a feather?
probably.
That comes
No,
down?
Dustlint.
Yeah, Dustlant.
Dustlant. Like sun will come through and you just see dust. And
Yeah.
that'll be the transition between time.
And Tom Hanks is in it, right?
I don't know. Is he?
I'm looking it up right now.
Fucking.
Yep, he is.
God damn it. Well,
And Robin Wright. All right, a little reunion there for Forrest Gump. And you got Beth from Yellowstone,
Oh.
Kelly Riley. She was in Flight, so they've worked together before.
That's the thing. Like,
It's the same people he's worked with.
that's good. I mean, Flight was another movie that it's just like, yeah, it was like it was an alcohol problem film. But God, when that plane was crashing, like, I still remember I was like, fuck.
It's great.
God, he can direct a scene when he wants to.
Yeah, he can.
And
This
then
is
he
not
can-
that.
And he can take a shit in a fucking bucket when he wants to also.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus.
He sure can.
That's like, I don't know. They're better than this, and that's
You're better than this.
it feels like they don't care. And if they don't care, I don't care.
I agree. He didn't care. I know he didn't care.
He did it for the money. Take your money, buy a
No, that's fine.
spend it on hookers and blow as you would
That's
in
fine.
America.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I think he gave you the heads up when they just released it on streaming. It should have been the head nod like, hey,
Oh, that was
This
a head
is-
nod.
this is not good.
Go back to our previous episodes. I was like, oh, it sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks. They release it on streaming. It's not.
Yeah.
They know it's gonna be nothing.
A giant turd.
Anyways, don't recommend it.
Yeah.
$150 million to make that movie.
Wow.
Or
There's a
you can
cho-
spend $35 million and give
Yeah.
it to Guillermo del Toro.
Is that how much it costs for?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
1,000 days of filming, 35 million, huh?
The longest stop motion animated film ever created. $35 million.
Wow. It shows though,
Does.
because the animation's pretty damn good.
Looks pretty good. So let's get into
Yeah.
all right. Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, directed by Guillermo del Toro and Mark Gustafson.
You know what Mark Gustafson also worked on? Do you remember that show, The PJs?
Yeah. I forgot
used to
about
like
that
that
show
show. I used to like
until
that
I
show.
looked up because they're like, oh, Mark Gustafson's first directing thing. And
Yeah.
I'm like, he came from stop motion. What is he, just like animation supervisor? I was like, oh, no, he directed The PJs. I was like, I've thought about that shit in years.
Yeah, no. Great show.
Yeah. So another Pinocchio story. This time, this takes place not in the 1800s Italy. And it's not remaking the Disney one.
Uh-huh.
It is going from the story of the book with some liberties. So now it takes place in 1930s. Or no,
I think it's
1940s.
Yeah, I think during World War II.
Correct.
Yeah.
And because you have a Mussolini
Yeah.
Italian regime. And
It's the backdrop of the movie. It's
yeah,
during
backdrop of the movie. So, and so it's kind of more focusing on the actual book, or taking elements from the book as opposed to being more like the Disney one.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, first impressions, the art style. I mean, the models, the character designs, fantastic. I kind of got some Frankenstein vibes during the making of the puppet, which I thought was like, okay. So because Del Toro is a little bit darker in his
he is
storytelling and stuff.
He's really into monsters too. So
yeah, I'm hoping. Overall, I recommend it. I need to watch it again because again, I watched this when I was hungover, but I stayed awake the entire time.
Yeah.
And I was more focused on the animation at the beginning, and then I kind of got lost into the story, which I kind of just want to watch it again and just pay attention strictly to the story because I love stop motion animation, but I love seeing the artistic detail that's involved in like the models, the backdrops, everything, and the textures of the puppets and all that good stuff. But yeah, I'll need to watch it again. But I recommend it. It's not necessarily a kids movie. You can watch it with kids. There's nothing.
Yeah, there's nothing overtly.
There's nothing
sketchball that's gonna.
I mean, it might be scary in some parts, maybe depending if you have a super young kid or something. But a lot of the stuff I think will probably go over their heads.
Yeah.
And
the themes of the movie are a little bit more mature than, like the goal of the Tom Hanks Pinocchio is to bright colors, get kids like, oh, look at this bright colors, blah blah blah. This is not that at all. There's not really bright colors for the sake of being bright colors, and it's a very subdued tone. There's some singing in it, but it's not like a Disney musical, really.
Yeah, it deals with depression. It deals with the loss of a child. It deals with
grief.
Yeah, grief. It has a lot of I guess different threads that it goes through as far as like human emotions and
fascism,
yes, and all that stuff. So, but I'll need to rewatch it.
Yeah,
I'm crossing my fingers. They did release it in theaters. So they're gonna try and, I'm guessing, make it an Oscar contender, which I could see this winning Best Animated. Film. And if it does, I hope, which even if it gets nominated, I think it's going to be released on Criterion.
Yeah.
And because I think that's what Netflix uses now, because of The Irishman, Roma.
Those are all released on Criterion?
Yep. And Marriage Story.
Okay.
All like it's Netflix uses Criterion, feels like, for
their movies.
Criterion release. And Del Toro, a lot of Pan's Labyrinth, a lot of it, Kronos, a lot of his catalog's already on Criterion. So he's worked with them already. So I'm hoping it's on Criterion. I will buy it because of those sweet, sweet bonus features.
You love the bonus features.
Oh, that'd be a lot.
1,000, what is that? So 1,000 days. That's almost 3 years.
Yeah.
Of working on this. That's crazy.
The model crew. Oh,
yeah. No, that's when you realize that's how long it took to make this movie, you appreciate it that much more. First impressions, I loved it. It was my favorite animated movie that I saw this past year. It probably would have made my list, my top 5 best of the year.
Okay.
I enjoyed it that much. I thought I haven't seen a version of Pinocchio where you understood Geppetto's grief. They did the backstory of him losing his son. That set the tone.
Yeah.
That was good. Never seen that before. Voice actors were great. I thought Christoph Waltz was awesome as Count Volpo.
Yeah, Volpo.
Like you said, the animation was great. I thought the characters looked wooden, which I thought was a nice touch. I think they meant to do that. Like everyone looks like they're carved out of wood.
Yeah.
So that was cool. Surprisingly emotional at times. Who's the guy who did the voice of Geppetto?
Oh, out of bed, students out of bed.
David Bradley. Yeah. Yep. He was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, surprisingly touching at times. Definitely. And, I mean, other than that, I mean, like, yeah, it wasn't beat for beat. I mean, it has elements from the Disney.
Sure.
With the whale and Count Volpo's pretty much, what's that character's name?
Honest John.
Honest John, yeah.
Well, he's kind of a mixture of
Honest John, and then the fat dude.
Yeah, Stromboli.
Stromboli, thank you.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I think you liked it more than I did, but again, I watched it hungover. But also, I was mainly early on focusing on like how they did the animation and just the model work and everything else like that. So it does warrant a rewatch. I've seen some people respond very much to the story and just reading user reviews just to see how it was received for other people. And some people were like, "Oh, I teared up like 5 or 6 times," and I'm like, "Fuck, I didn't." Of course, I didn't
tear up, but it was
an emotional deadbeat because I was hungover.
Hey, I may tear up for Bluey, but no, this one didn't have me.
Hey, Bluey is the best thing that is on Disney Plus right now. So
it's actually very good. I started watching that with the boys from your recommendation. They do like it.
It's fun.
It's pretty good.
But no, I mean, I agree. Like, I liked it enough. I'm definitely going to rewatch it. It may not be until it comes out on Criterion, just because I'm already aware of what happens story-wise. Give me enough time to get in the mood to watch it again. Just because it's not like it's not something you want to watch every day.
No,
it's not exactly like you said, lighthearted and upbeat. It deals with some fairly serious stuff, but not so much like, oh my god, it's Requiem for a Dream all over again kind of thing.
Yeah, it's not Requiem for a Dream. Yeah, there's no...
But I mean, you need to be in a certain kind of mood to want to see it or whatever.
Well, and to that point, I think if I was 12 years old, I wouldn't have enjoyed it as much as I do now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Me being my age, I enjoyed it definitely more than I would have when I was younger. It was definitely geared towards older... It's not geared towards kids, I don't think. Honestly, I don't think it is.
I don't think it is.
Yeah.
It's because Geppetto is more of a main character in this than what I feel like Pinocchio is. Or, I mean, at least he's a character that's up there with Pinocchio.
Yes.
As opposed to Pinocchio only being in the spotlight. This is the first movie in a while that actually made me want to watch bonus features. Because I mean, mainly everything is all made the same way now anyways. There's nothing really new that anyone's doing. I think the last thing I was interested in watching was the front projection sets that ILM, Industrial Light and Magic, did. But I mean, with the amount of work that the teams that had to come together to be able to make this, I remember watching it, I was like, I really want to watch the bonus features of how they made this. But I recommend it. I think it's good. It's a good story. It's different, and this is the exact opposite of, I think, the other Pinocchio, to where you felt like no one cared in Zemeckis's. You could tell a lot of people. I mean, hell, they spent 3 years on it.
They cared about this one for sure. Yeah. Did you like Kate Blanchett's voice work as the monkey Spazzatura? Barely noticed it.
Yeah, I know. And she's like interviewed like she's one of the characters, and I'm like, oh, God. Like, apparently she wanted to be a part of this when she was in Nightmare Alley, and but all the roles were cast.
Okay, so
and he's like, except for the monkey, and she's like, oh, that's the character I wanted to play anyways. Shut the fuck up, Kate Blanchett. No, it's not. You know it's not.
Yeah.
I bet she wanted to, like, I had a feeling she wanted to be one of the
wood sprite.
Yeah, the wood sprite, or the other one that's like the afterlife thing. But yeah, let's hop into spoilers and all that good stuff. I mean, spoiler wise, I really don't have anything, but I just because I keep thinking about the art direction and the models, the way they animate.
I mean, compared to the other movie, I really love the way this one ended. I like the ending. So, and again, it's the same concept of he doesn't turn into a real boy, but
he becomes mortal.
Yeah, correct.
And he is pretty much like, he's not flesh and bone,
right?
But he's still...
Well, the Tom Hanks one, it's like, oh, they lived happily ever after as father and son, blah, blah, blah. This one is like, Geppetto died, then Jiminy died. They had some good times, but life went on.
Yeah, and then Spestura died.
And then, yep.
Which is fine because,
Yeah.
I mean, they made a reference earlier in the movie, and they were talking about Geppetto. Is it Geppetto or something? Made a comment to where a parent shouldn't have to outlive their child.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he got that wish with Pinocchio
Mm-hmm.
to where Pinocchio outlived Geppetto, and which was fine. It's how everything should be. But yeah, I enjoyed how they ended it too. It was nice because it
Satisfying.
it was a satisfying ending because you didn't really expect you didn't know. You have in the back of your mind, oh, he's going to be a real boy and it'll be his son or what.
Yeah.
Yeah, they kind of give that to you, but then it's also different enough to where, oh, okay, that's nice.
Yeah.
I liked how they didn't do Paradise Island.
Fantasy Island.
No. They did a military training camp for Mussolini's forces.
Fascist youth army. Yeah.
Which I like that. And because which is a nice commentary on war. I mean, it's a little on the nose, but I mean, it's, you're taking children and you're turning them into monsters pretty much. And, I like how they have that as far as like kind of like a basic boot camp or some kind of, during the war backdrop, because it's a nice thing from, if you let like kids run away and do whatever they want, they'll turn into donkeys and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And it's punishment to where you have the same kind of outcome, but this is actually government sponsored almost to where, this is what society expects people to do. And we're still turning them into monsters.
Correct,
kind of a thing. I like that aspect of that.
Yep.
Voice work I thought was great. Ron Perlman. Ewan McGregor was fine.
Yeah.
He was, But yeah, David Bradley.
Did you like how? So I thought, okay, they cast Ewan McGregor. It's a musical, and he's gonna have a bunch of musical numbers in it. And every time he just started to sing, he'd get squashed. It was great.
I did like that.
That was pretty cool.
When especially the opening up.
Yeah.
When he's like trying to stop Pinocchio from walking out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did enjoy that.
Because he didn't really sing in it.
Mm-mm.
It was mainly just Pinocchio.
Yeah, he sang at the end during the credits.
Okay, all right.
So, because I think it goes to credits and then it comes back and he kind of sings a little bit and then it goes back into the credits.
Oh, okay. I cut it off after the end. I didn't watch the credits. Yeah.
It wasn't a long time. I think he sang for, like 15, 30 seconds, and then it just went into the credits. But yeah, I mean the amount of detail in the sets and everything is great. They add, they complement computer effects very well in this, to where it doesn't take away from anything. It's not blatant to where that was a computer. I
didn't notice it too much.
It still looks practical when it's in there. The little side trivia for you: the range, because I was bored today, so I was looking up a bunch of
Stuff.
behind the scenes
Random
stuff.
facts.
Random facts. The smallest Pinocchio doll they used was about an inch high.
Huh.
And then the largest Pinocchio doll, it was an interview I saw with Guillermo del Toro. And Guillermo del Toro, if you've seen him, he's kind of a big guy.
He is, yeah.
He's festively plump. But the biggest Pinocchio his head was about the size of Del Toro's body.
Wow.
And the reason is because they had shots when they have not Jiminy Cricket, but just the cricket whispering into Pinocchio's ear. They needed to have a big enough Pinocchio head so that way they could still move the armature of the cricket.
Gotcha.
To be able to do that effectively and still maintain that scale and the level of detail within the character. So, I mean, I'm sure there's tons of crap in there. I mean, typically, like with any other kind of puppet movie or stop motion animation, is they built the sets up to where it needs to be so that way you can have the animators moving in between the sets, and then they fill that in later with computer graphics. and everything else. But yeah, they had different varying art styles from like the 1400s all the way through to present day of 1940s Italy. That kind of helped the world feel more whole. A lot of work and care into this.
I know.
It's
shows.
great. It's fun.
It's fun, yeah.
When you watch something and you're like, oh, someone actually gave a shit.
Yeah. I like the little touches, too. I like the way his nose grew.
Mm-hmm.
It was interesting.
Yeah.
Never seen it like that. Normally it's just straight out, but this is like a branch, tree branch with leaves and crap.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
I like they could have really, so you have Leica. It's a studio in, I believe, Oregon.
Oh, the one who did Kubo and the Two Strings?
Yeah, Kubo and the Two Strings and Paranorman.
Yeah.
Did they do Paranorman?
Yeah, I think so.
Or Caroline and...
you know who directed those? Phil Knight's son.
Nike Phil Knight?
Mm-hmm. He's a stop-motion director. Isn't that funny?
That's how he got that fucking job.
Yeah.
Of course he's a stop-motion director.
Yeah. Well, have you ever seen Kubo and the Two Strings?
I have seen parts of it.
It's very good.
Yes, that's what I hear. But like that, you have a very finished version. Like you have very finished animation with Kubo and the Two Strings. Like I mean, you could see the complexity, and you could see some of the elements. But I feel like that's more polished than what this is, and that's not slamming this at all. But this is something that I like. Is you can see. Like when they blink, the eye covers that go over Pinocchio, like they change out his eyes to make him blink, and I enjoy how they did that, just because you could still see the handheld effect of it, or the artist moving the pieces, and it brings it to your attention without taking you out of the story. Similar way to what. Like Wes Anderson's Isle of Dogs and Fantastic Mr. Fox, to where they use real fur, and you can see the imprints, the waves of, it almost creates like a wind effect just from the puppeteers moving the armatures, and I just like that, to where you could see the signature almost of
every movement.
Yeah, those movements. And
like in the sand scene where I think he's burying something, Geppetto, and as the sand moves, you can tell like it's not perfect.
Yeah, it's not perfect, but you can see
where all the movements
what
were.
They're doing.
It probably took a month to just do that. The hand over the sand scene. Jeez.
Yeah, but I like when they leave those artifacts in.
Yeah, that's cool.
And that's why. I don't know. Yeah, it's good, and that's why I don't like people going back and adding effects to existing work, because you're covering up what other people had done in the past. And granted, sometimes they bring back the original people to do it, but sometimes they don't too. So, but
hey, I want to compare and contrast the two endings to these movies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so here is Pinocchio.
All right.
Remake with Tom Hanks.
So wait, this is the ending.
The ending.
Okay.
Just the endings to both of these.
Okay.
Let's get home. Oh, come on, Cleo. Bring it home. But, Pinocchio, do you know the way?
We'll follow that light.
So, in the end, Pinocchio did prove himself brave, honest, and unselfish. And since then, many stories have been told about him. People say he was transformed into an honest-to-goodness real boy. Did that actually happen? Who knows? But I do know one thing for sure. In his heart, Pinocchio is as real as any real boy could ever be.
All right. So there's that one.
Mm-hmm.
And then
that brought up like 5 minutes worth of shit I wanted to shit on just for that one clip.
It's so terrible.
Like the entire, he did a fine job of Jiminy Cricket. But God damn it, wrap it the fuck. He uses boy as a real as a thing and a thing and a finger with and shut the fuck up in the fucking movie. And wait, did they die? Because like I was watching it,
They didn't die.
hungover. I thought they did.
No.
I was like, they're fucking. He's like, do you know the way? And I'm like, head towards the light. And I'm like, oh, they're fucking dead. Are they fucking dead? And that was like the first thing I thought of. I was like,
I don't think they're dead.
They
No.
fucking died.
No, I don't think so. I just hate that.
It'd be too unique.
Some say that he did become a real boy, but who's to say? I don't know.
Some
but what
people say
is for sure?
he's as real as a boy.
Well, what is it? What is it?
We'll leave it to your own interpretation because we don't give a fuck.
We don't care. Aye, aye, Captain. I fucking hate it. I hated it. Anyway, and here's the other one.
All right.
This is Guillermo del Toro's.
Okay.
Pinocchio found me by the window. I wasn't moving anymore. So he put me in a matchbox. And he carries me still with him. Right in his heart. He ventured into the world, and the world, I believe, embraced him back. I've not heard of him in quite a while. Will he eventually die? I think so. And maybe that makes him a real boy. What happens, happens. And then, we are gone.
It's great.
Yeah.
So much better.
And if you're listening to this podcast
So
and
much
you're
better.
wondering, wait, half of that was just music. That's because in movies and in good storytelling, whether it be a book or a TV show, a short film, a documentary, they show, they don't tell. Unlike,
Right.
oh, who could say with the thing and the hanging and fuck me?
In the hoop and the how and the beam and the bob.
I'm old. I'm a fidgety old man. I just made a wooden puppet. Fucking hate that thing.
Yeah, but they were so when it was silent there, Pinocchio was looking over the graves of Geppetto, Spazzatori, and Carlo.
Yeah.
And he was like signifying that he recognizes they're gone, and he walks away into the sunset.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And they're
Is it really that hard?
They're all buried at the same place. Like you
Right.
recognize, oh, that was his family.
That's his family.
But you don't
on top
have
of the
someone
hill.
coming out and say, oh, well, that was his family. And because he had a family, he was a real boy. And
yeah. I mean,
yeah.
it's amazing. Is it really that hard? Is it that hard?
Well, I just don't think they tried.
I mean, there was that was what 15 words of dialogue. That was it.
There's also
That's
3
all-
years worth of work.
That's true. That's true. Maybe they're like, I guess we got a script, but I mean, we're just sitting here animating. I have no time to write dialogue, so hopefully we're just putting all our trust in you there, Guillermo. But again, you've had 3 years to write the script in however way you want to, so you got plenty
Well,
of
actually,
time.
yeah. I mean, you probably had more time to write the script because it took 3 years to animate it. So
Yes.
But no, I just don't. I don't think anybody tried it. The Disney version.
No. I don't think so. It shows.
Yeah.
It shows. Big time.
So the Netflix. I hope they keep. I mean, they still make a lot of crap, but
They do.
they do some pretty good stuff sometimes. For like this, I mean, this is probably my favorite thing that I think Netflix did. Short of
What, this
Stranger
past year?
Things, no, Stranger Things and Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
But those are ones that I like nerded out and enjoyed. But
Yeah.
but as far as like a finished product, I think this one was.
Feature film wise, yeah, I'd have to agree
I think
with
this
you.
is probably pretty good because it feels like a complete idea, and it doesn't feel like Guillermo del Toro or Mark, what's his name? Gustafson ran away with it.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't feel like they were like, oh, we could do whatever we want, kind of a thing. Unlike some of the other properties that get made at Netflix, to where it's like, does anybody wrangle in these people into making a product that would actually have some kind of somewhat of a mass appeal?
Yeah.
But I mean, this felt like a studio movie.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think you can just throw shit at the wall to make a movie like this. You have to know what you're doing because it is painstakingly difficult to make and time consuming. So you have to know the direction of what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Netflix just throws a lot of shit at the wall and see what sticks. Honestly, like 1899, that show that I was made my top 5 worst.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to be like 3 seasons.
Yeah,
it got canceled.
Yeah.
So like,
today.
I mean, like you can't keep doing this. Can't be your business model. We're gonna throw shit at the wall.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't get 7 billion minutes of streaming minutes in the first 2 weeks, fuck it.
Mm-hmm.
It's out the window. It's not worth our time.
Yeah. Are you not willing to spend 3 seasons worth of money on it? No. Then do it in 1 season.
Right. That's fine too.
Yeah. Because then
Fine,
you got to have a tighter fucking story.
Right.
You don't have filler. You don't have it.
Right.
But what if it's a hit?
Then
then go make another fucking hit.
Then fine.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, make a tight season, and if it is a hit, right, make something else, or figure out how to make a second season. You could do that. I think they did that with Stranger Things. I do not think they thought that was going to last more than one season.
They left it open just because that's typically how those kind of stories like end, like, oh, like,
But it was satisfying enough to be like,
it was, yeah,
that's fine.
to where if it ended,
Yeah.
perfectly fine. And they've been able to end every season like that.
Yes.
Very, very well.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, other than the 3rd season and 4th season, I think after the 2nd season, I think they were like, are we going to...
keep doing this?
Are we gonna be able to do season 3 kind of a thing? So, but
yeah. But I prefer the Del Toro Pinocchio over the Zemeckis Pinocchio by far and away.
I agree. And yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of the Pinocchio story to begin with.
Yeah, I could take it or leave it.
But no, I thought it was good, and I liked what he changed. It made it different enough, and because I mean, how many times has Pinocchio been
Swallowed by the whale?
So
and
many fucking times. There's a lot of
the puppet without strings.
adaptations.
Yes, there's a lot. Have you ever seen the Roberto Benigni Pinocchio live action one?
Which one? The one where he plays Pinocchio, or the one he plays Geppetto?
He has 2?
Yes. Everyone has a Pinocchio, and like
I didn't realize he had.
Yeah,
he did.
He
Wow.
did. He did the when he played Geppetto. I think that one came out 5 years ago or something like
Okay.
that. I have not seen it.
I saw the one where he plays Pinocchio, the boy.
Yeah. How was that?
It's very awkward
Very Italian.
because he's playing a boy and he's a 50-year-old man.
Is it like Clifford when Martin Short
A little
was
bit.
playing
Yeah.
playing a 10-year-old kid and he's like fucking 35?
It's definitely weird. Oh yeah, you're right. Pinocchio, 2019. He's Geppetto. That is weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, how many times are you going to redo this?
At least several
Does
more.
Italy have any other IP besides Pinocchio?
Well, it's open. It's open IP. Anyone
open
can
now?
make it. So now we're gonna get. Well, we have the floodgates. So we got Winnie the Pooh. That's now
Blood and
Honey. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna get those fucking things from now on. We're gonna get like 20 of those over the next 20 years. We're gonna. What else?
The Grinch.
Just became public domain. Oh shit! Dr. Seuss is getting in there.
Yeah, because there's a horror film called The Mean One. Fuck me. I'm sure it's great.
I'm sure it's fantastic.
Hold on, I gotta look at this descriptor of Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
All right.
It follows Pooh and Piglet as they go on a rampage after Christopher Robin abandons them for college.
What a dick.
Oh my god! I guarantee you, it's gonna be a hit. It's gonna make money.
No,
they
well,
probably made it
it'll
for $1
make-
million bucks,
But here's the whole
and
point
then
of
it's gonna make money.
You know that there's no story there.
Oh, yeah, I
It's-
know.
Oh, it's a gimmick.
Yeah, it's a gimmick.
Let's-
So you recommend Del Toro's? I do too.
Yes.
And please do not watch the Zemeckis remake on Disney Plus. It's terrible. Waste of your time.
Yeah, which you have to search for it on Disney Plus. I couldn't even
To even
find
get it, really?
Yeah, I couldn't even find it just in the.
Oh, the algorithm doesn't even like it.
Yeah, yeah, which
That's saying something.
even though it's AI, it's still intelligent.
That's true.
Even though that interface is the worst fucking interface of
I
all
know.
streaming services.
It's pretty bad.
Anyways,
You know what I don't like about Primes and Disney's is when I go to movies, like just give me the list view of the movies available, like alphabetically. Give me one option for that.
Yeah.
I hate, especially Prime. Like if I go to movies, I have to scroll through like in no distinct order. I have no idea what's coming next. It's like just give me alphabetically. Just give me a guide, something.
I would like the continue watching for Disney Plus. Don't just start it right away. Maybe because maybe I have little kids. They're like, start it over, and then I either have to search for it to get that option play from the beginning, or I have to play it and then I have to rewind and stand there for a minute of my life.
Yeah.
Waiting for it to rewind. First world problems, I know, but they're the major problems that need to be addressed immediately.
Yep.
You spend $150 million on a piece of shit movie, you could spend $10 to hire a fucking college kid to give you a better interface.
Yeah, it's true.
It's like common sense shit. Just have it on. Just have a little pop-up screen. Okay, do you want to start it over? Continue, like everyone else does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if there's copyright based on like streaming copyright interfaces, which I'm sure is the thing, to where they can't have that option on there for some reason. But Amazon Prime has it.
Yep, they do.
Netflix has it.
Yep.
Hulu, I think, has it. Or Hulu's even a little. Well,
I haven't been on Hulu in years. I have no idea what that interface is like anymore.
what I saw Val on there. Oh, wait, no, I saw that on Amazon.
Yeah, that's on Amazon.
I went to Hulu to search for it because I thought it was on Hulu. I was like, oh, it's not on here. And I got the fuck out of there real quick.
Yeah.
God, that'll get you. Fucking
Why? Because Hulu's interface is terrible?
Yeah. Yeah, it's not a good one either.
It's still bad. I remember not liking it.
There's nothing on Hulu.
I know.
What's on Hulu? Let us know in the comments because we don't.
Does it Handmaid's Tale?
Oh, Jesus.
That's it. Well, I think that's losing its luster. I think we're done with it. Well, what do we got next time? What do we talk about next, Jay?
I forget. Join us next time as we talk about the new Christian Bale mystery, Edgar Allan Poe mystery, Pale Blue Eye. So he plays Edgar Allan Poe?
No, he plays a detective, and Dudley from the Harry Potter franchise plays Edgar Allan Poe, who's a recruit at a military academy.
Okay. I haven't looked up anything on this movie.
Yeah.
It's fiction, I'm assuming.
It's fiction.
Just happens to have a real person.
It's based on a book, yeah.
Okay. So, Pale Blue Eye, which you can watch it on Netflix by the time you hear this Friday, pretty much.
January 6th.
January 6th, 2023. It'll be on Netflix, so watch it there, and then you can listen to us talk about it.
Yeah.
Or if not, go fuck yourself.
Here's the description. A world-weary detective, that's Christian Bale, is hired to investigate the murder of a West Point cadet Stymied by the cadets' code of silence, he enlists one of their own to help unravel the case. A young man the world would come to know as Edgar Allan Poe. There you go.
All right. Who's directing it?
Scott Cooper. He's a pretty good director. He did Black Mass with Johnny Depp.
Yep.
He also did Out of the Furnace. I don't know if you've ever seen that. And Crazy Heart. It's another pretty good movie. And Hostels.
Nice.
He did the Antler movie that I wasn't too impressed with. That was his last one. It was like a horror movie.
Yeah.
It was all right. Yeah.
Well, Pale Blue Eye next time.
Yep.
So, and also don't forget to visit our website. You can see other episodes or listen to other episodes. Comment, write your email, all that jazz. So, yeah, till next time, Matt.
Until next time, Jay.